Alright, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. We're here at my shop, and one of my YouTube fans, Gary, brought his, what year is this, Gary? 2014 Nissan Rogue over for a diagnosis. He says his rear windshield wiper doesn't work. Okay, should be straightforward enough. Now this car history, it was in a front end collision, right? And
yeah,
they fixed up some stuff in the front end. And no one really knows if the wiper worked before or after. You know? So it just doesn't work, and we'll take it from scratch. So on these new cars, first thing you want to do before pulling up wiring diagrams or your voltmeter or anything, go to the scanner, because everything is computer controlled through modules, and that way we can at least get a direction of where we want to go. So keys on, scanner's booted up. I am in the body control module menu, and we'll go to the wiper. Just check for codes first, just for consistency, no codes. Let's look at our data stream and verify the complaint. So he said the washer works, the rear washer. So if you go like this, you can see it's squirting. Works fine. Now the rear wiper has two speeds, intermittent and on, and obviously the rear wiper is dead in the water. Now on our data stream, rear wiper intermittent, rear wiper on, you can watch those data pits change. So that's intermittent, that's good, and rear wiper on, that's also good. And when we turn on the rear washer, let's see, where was that? Rear wiper, rear washer switch. So I push it back. There, that works and it activates. So customer complaint is verified. So just that simple test, 1 minute test, tells me that the switch is good, the body control module is receiving the command. However, it's not getting back to the rear wiper. So what's the next step? So one more thing we can try to do with the scanner, probably will show us the same thing, bidirectional controls. So we'll exit out of here, go to functional tests, rear wiper, and it just has on and off, no data stream. On, off, no change, no clicks, no anything. Just to make sure our scanner works, let's try the front wiper. Let's see, on. Yep, works, great. So I think that's it with the scanner. So the problem is between the body control module and the rear wiper. So now we should pull up a wiring diagram, see if it's controlled through a relay, powers and grounds, etc., and take it from there. Alright, on BBB Industries, for some reason for 2014 they had nothing, so we're going to 2013. Same body style, so I think we'll be okay with these diagrams. So we're looking for the rear wiper. And let's see what we have here.
Yeah, I was looking on BBB Industries, and I also couldn't blow them up. I use a Mac, and some of the stuff doesn't like Mac software.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I have to download a program to run Windows inside my Mac to do some stuff, I guess.
BCM switch.
Mine's already good enough to see that stuff.
See,
so can blow it up real good.
Washer pump. We got the. So that's the front wiper. Let's go back to the second diagram. Look at. Hopefully this has the rear wiper on it. There's your DLC, BCM, combination switch, rear wiper motor. Okay. And then the washer pump, that has to be for the rear wiper, I think. So what feeds the motor? So the BCM directly powers that motor. Interesting.
Not through a relay.
It's not going through a relay.
Wow.
So that's why we look at wiring diagrams, just to get a map of the system.
That's unusual not to have a relay.
Right. And the fact that everything else works, the washer works, the front wipers work,
Yeah, you'd think they'd worry about the wiper froze to the window and
Right.
you know, why smoke the BCM because there's ice on the rear window, you know?
Exactly. So we could go two directions here. Go to the right to the rear wiper motor, see if we have power on, you know, pin 1, and see if we have a good ground.
Does it show a switch there for the tailgate up and down?
Well, it's on the network, so the car would tell it if, you know, the rear hatch is open and would disable it, but, you know, it's the car knows that the trunk is closed. You know, it doesn't give you a warning. So the trunk switch works. The car knows the trunk is closed, so I'm not really worried about a logic.
It would be nice not to have to be crawling inside laying on your back.
Yeah.
Anything. There's a switch you can defeat.
Right.
Work with it open, that would be handy.
So we could check fuses, but again,
I'm pretty sure they check the fuses, yeah.
yeah. So I want to go right to this rear wiper motor. Check for. Well, let's see. This is more of a switch. It grounds the switch, so whenever the wiper is in rest, the switch, you know, grounds this pin on the BCM. But we should have power on pin 1 going to this motor. It's only 3 pins. Let's pop the rear cover off and look at those wires there. All right. So the panel popped off in like a second. Just clips. Unplug the wiper motor right here. So it's 3 wires, black, green, and gray. I assume it's pin 1, 2, and 3. We can look at the actual connector. So I have my test light back probing pin 1 and pin 3. So the black wire is the ground, and then the gray is yep, the gray should feed the motor. So when Gary flips the switch, the light should come on. Is that the first position?
We have to have the key on.
Ah, wait a second. Yeah, is the key on?
Yeah, the key is on.
Okay, key's on.
That light was on a minute ago.
When the camera comes out, everything changes, right?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe if I do it, it'll work.
Yeah. The bulb just burned out.
So, let's see, just go back to the wiper for a second.
Enjoy.
Let's see here. So data, rear wiper is off, rear wiper stop is on. So there.
Now it's on.
Now the light is on, right?
Yeah.
Light is on. Oh, and then it turned off. So that was like a safety thing, because if the wiper, you know, is frozen to the windshield, it only turns it on for a little bit and then it shuts it off. Okay, so that makes sense.
Lights on.
Lights on. The pump is not running, or the motor's not running, and now the light went off, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's just check the other pin. See what that does. So that never changes front. Oh, I was looking at front wiper stop. We need rear wiper stop. Does that change? Let's put this back in here. Unclip it. So if that green pin is not grounded, I think our data pin should change. There we go. Okay, rear wiper stop off. That's good. So now we turn the switch to on. The light does not light up, but it did a second ago. Okay. So if we plug it back in,
Lights on.
oh, the light's on now? I turned the wiper off.
What'd you do?
And then it kicked off. Okay, so we have some kind of control. Let's just make sure we're on the right pins here. that the gray one is indeed the power feed to the motor. I think it is. It's lighting up a test light. But the logic is a little confusing here. Okay, how about we try bidirectional control? Functional test. Rear wiper on. Alright, now we're getting somewhere.
By the time you get it, it'll be off.
So
Yep.
okay, now it's off. Even though our bidirectional control says, now let me turn it off and then turn it back on. Really?
It probably has to cool down or reset or something.
Something like that, yeah. Well, that just blows my mind. So let's see. On.
No light. Light. Still on, still on, still on, still on. Out.
Now it's out?
Yep.
Okay. So if we have a light and the motor's plugged in, and the motor's not working, is it safe to assume that the motor is bad?
Maybe.
That's what it sounds like. Let's just double check the wiring diagram to make sure the wiring colors are accurate. Then we can try to run the motor, you know, see if it's drawing any current. Try to get it to just, you know, put power and ground to it, see if it freaking works. And I think we're getting pretty close. So now, I think it's a simple matter of power and ground to the two side pins there and see if this motor kicks on, but it probably won't because we had this plugged in, we had the light on there, the light lit up, but the motor didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So that already proves that the motor is either stuck or bad, but you know, we can play around with this a little bit here and see if we can get it to act up. Nissan, made in China. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And it's like Valio, isn't that a European company? That'd be kind of sad if three-year-old wiper motors burns up like that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's play around with this thing a little bit.
You're missing out all the junk cars.
That's it. There's the problem.
Open.
Open circuit. We're going right through the motor. Bam. Now I'm curious if I can kind of knock on it a little bit. There, well, there's something. We'll poke up a little bit. So I'm curious to just take this off and kind of, it's screwed together. We just pop it apart and see if the brushes in there are corroded or something. Clean those up and
no harm, no foul. Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing loose here. So diagnosis is complete.
Yeah, couple bolts.
Yep. Wiper motor is not functional. So let's see if we can fix it on the bench. So here it is, wiper motor, 3 bolts, super easy to take off as long as your wiper arm isn't seized on, which this one wasn't. So here's our connector, 3 pins, and we're looking at the outer 2. Follow the traces here. Here's one trace. Here's the second trace. I can't believe how chintzy these things are. Like this one you can just lift up. Now the motor, it looks like these 2 pins are the power for the motor, and this trace, it's just kind of flopping around. I don't think it's even making contact with that pin, to tell you the truth. Now we can easily prove that just by hooking up our ohm meter again, and just wiggling this thing around, and seeing if there's continuity through it. So ohm meter hooked up to the 2 traces. Now I'm wondering if we just push this guy down and press on this contact, if anything will change. There you go, 7.5 ohms. Now let it go. Open. Right here. This is the problem. This is ridiculous. All we need to do is bend these little ears so they contact the motor better. You can actually see almost a little gap in there. These things are loose. And that will fix your wiper motor, Gary. How about that?
Yeah, who knew?
No corrosion, no green crusties. You don't need to go to the dealer. Let's just get some pliers out and get this thing fixed. Alright, so... Oh man, this is like ridiculously chintzy. I'll wipe my pliers off. And all we're going to do is gently... There's absolutely... This is like the thinnest metal I've ever grabbed. And now, when we push it down, it'll actually be spring-loaded against that. I guess we can solder these things together if the owner wants for a long-term reliability. That might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, you could solder right to that.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I mean, this is just silly that, like this one, we would have to lift up to bend.
Yeah.
I guess we can. There we go. But yeah, these contacts, that's the worst design of
They don't need to be flexible, yeah.
No, they don't need to be flexible at all. And it's such thin metal that
Flexible's not a good thing, yeah.
flexible is not a good thing. It'll just bend out and never come back to proper position.
And as soon as it starts to lose contact, it's going to eat the metal up and get worse, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think this will be a popular video on the Nissan Rogue forums.
Yeah.
With people not having their rear windshield wiper work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a free fix. You can't complain about that.
Now for $5 you can go to this page and we'll show you the fix, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, we got to make that a paid video, right, Gary?
Yeah.
Hey, I remember how that turned out. Remember when I tried to make the part 2 paid on the Rogue CVT? People weren't a fan of that.
I've talked to a bunch of friends of mine, including some shop mechanics, that had no idea that a Nissan Rogue belt, transmission belt, CVT belt, was a push belt, not a pull belt.
Yeah, it's a really weird and wonderful design. Let me get the soldering iron out. We'll touch these up and ship this thing.
Plan.
Alright, so we got our soldering iron heated up. Let's just heat up these tabs and melt a little solder in here and see if it takes. Ooh, we got the plastic coming up too. So at least we know that the tab heated up properly, and we can check. If that trace is soldered on there, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, I think that worked. Tell you the truth. So next one, this guy here, I'll just push it down. No, I'll just push it down with the soldering iron while it heats up. That's it. I think. Heats up really fast. It's really thin metal.
Yeah, oh yeah. Do that with a match.
Perfect.
That one dashboard that Eric just fixed the other day, he called the company that rebuilds them and was asking them about what was going on, and they said this some about no, it wasn't slaughter, but it was a migration thing.
Oh yeah.
Something on the back of the board, it would migrate and and it was conductive, and it would short things out.
Yep. That's on the Chevy trucks, right?
Yeah. And you'd think they'd be able to just spray that with a cleaner and clean that off, and then maybe spray it with some clear coat or something.
There you go. So here's the proof. 7.5 ohms, no meter. We have continuity now. These traces are solid. Pop this little silly plastic cover back on, and I think well, yeah, because we put a little solder on there, but it's on there.
Yeah.
Let's plug it in, and this thing should work beautifully. Alright, motor, little diapers on. We just have to tighten up these bolts, super easy. So these new cars, they make them super easy to assemble to save money on the factory floor.
All three of those bolts in at once.
Yep. So we'll plug this guy in, pop that guy in, and now
I'm going to turn the key.
we can just, turn the key and turn it on, and this thing should spin. Beautiful.
That's delay.
Yep. That's on. It works.
Wow.
It's off?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll put the wiper blade back on and you'll be good to go.
Contact is still not the same.
Fluid film in our wiper arm to prevent future problems. And then it looks like it rests right about here. Looks good to me. Just one nut holding it down. We'll do a little final test drive of the wiper and washer system. Clean up this dirty rear windshield.
That's gonna be a get some water.
Bingo. All right, let her rip, Gary. Do the washer and the whole procedure. So push it away from you. There you go. Perfect. And that's it. Diagnosed, repaired, no parts required, just the way we like it here at Pine Hollow. So
Parts comes on the shelf.
how about that, Gary? You don't need to go to the Nissan dealer or
Yeah.
go anywhere, and your car's all fixed up.
No motor available, Rock Auto. So.
Yeah, yep. So I guess with that, that's all we can do here. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for Gary for driving down and letting me play with his Nissan Rogue. And
Another lesson learned.
I guess we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.